late, I'm just cutting it close.
Making an entrance.
Cut it close. Did you fall down?
Come early today. Had a bit small reason. I can do the 2 turnovers.
Yeah, so you do nice cars, huh?
Did you? Yeah, a couple months, maybe one of each would you right now, because
So I'll get these important ones on the top.
Yeah. You gonna open the tunnel back up?
I haven't figured out where it is. They ripped it off.
Throw that away.
Yeah. Tell you what, there are days. One big comments. I appreciate what.
Oh, yeah, Monday. At work, yeah.
Good.
But,
I know the part under front.
Push yourself out and say.
yeah.
There's a low spot.
There you go. Yeah, maybe.
We can offer some experience.
You'll have to get the yeah. Remember if it said that it like swirled around the cane up
Gearing up for
front door?
Thanksgiving there, folks.
Gonna travel, huh? No, not that quick.
Which would make sense. 'Cause then it was-
I know.
Close to it.
Yeah.
Phone time say, are we there?
I'm thinking.
Oh, no, it's not yet.
It's been so long since I've looked at that. No, or I don't know the historic building.
Back left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You and Susie.
I was in,
Good time? All right. All right, we'll call this meeting to order. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you please take roll?
Councilman Madison?
Here.
Councilman Montoya?
Here.
Councilman Kaufman?
Here.
Councilman Ellison?
Here.
Mayor Graves?
Here. Any changes to the agenda?
Yes, we need to add to, under D3, proclamation for, just had it.
Native American.
Native American Heritage Month.
I'm assuming it's here somewhere. All right. All right, is there any other changes to the agenda? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. You have before you the consent agenda, and for the purpose of discussion, I would entertain a motion to approve and place to record the consent agenda items.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion?
I'd like to mention under your administration report, mention that Tabitha is, she's leading the safety program.
Yes.
Ocean compliance officer toured the buildings and complimented our department heads and Tabitha. There are several areas that need to be addressed, but he was surprisingly impressed with where they are. So I just want to congratulate you, Tabitha. Good job. Safety's a big
Serving.
thing, and you're doing a good job.
I'd kind of pile on there, Tony, for just a second and commend Tabitha for her commitment to the safety deal. The guys say that she finds the way to make boring topics fun and at least somewhat interesting. She does a nice job with presentation of pretty mundane stuff, and a couple of the crew leaders or the department heads have made mention of that to me over the last 4 or 5 months. So I mean, if you're going to call it out, Tony, I'll add on with it.
There's a spot in here where we were to ask Doug, our city lawyer, Doug, of where we're standing with the Steinhausen hangars.
Josh and I have talked, and I think their surveyors are, because we had to split it in 2 different sections. One, the old buildings that have fallen down, and then the new ones he wants to keep. So we're gonna split those into 2 different legals. Josh and I have talked about the 2 leases that we have to put together. We're waiting that, and he's been trading phone calls with Mr. Steinhausen. And so we're on a mission to get it done, but Mr. Steinhausen sometimes does not answer his phone and doesn't have voicemail. He might have it, but it isn't set up, nor does he respond. And if you know Daryl, that is not unusual. That is,
Yeah.
that's just Daryl.
Yeah. Thank you on that.
Yeah. Pretty excited.
Any other discussion on the consent agenda items? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry. Moving on to petitions, memorials, proclamations, and public comment. Item number 1 is a proclamation for the National Apprenticeship Week of November 13th through the 19th. The Town of Wheatland proclamation is, whereas 2023 marks the 86th anniversary of the National Apprenticeship Act, and whereas the National Apprenticeship Week is celebrating its 9th anniversary of raising awareness of the vital role registered apprenticeships provide in creating opportunities by allowing apprentices to earn while they learn and preparing a pathway to good quality jobs and well-paying careers in Wheatland and across the nation. And whereas registered apprenticeship programs enable employers to develop and train their future workforce while offering career seekers affordable paths to secure a high-paying job. And whereas Wheatland recognizes the role of registered apprenticeship in expanding opportunities in our workforce that are inclusive of individuals who have been historically underserved, marginalized, or adversely affected by persistent poverty and inequity, thus providing a path for all qualified individuals, including women, youth, people of color, rural communities, justice-involved individuals, and individuals with disabilities to become apprentices and contribute to Wyoming and America's industry. And whereas Wheatland recognizes that registered apprenticeship is a proven and industry-driven training model, can train our workforce and build a pipeline into good quality jobs in order to address our nation's pressing workforce challenges, such as rebuilding our country's infrastructure, addressing critical supply chain demands, supporting clean energy workforce, modernizing our cybersecurity response, and responding to care economy issues. Now therefore, I, Brandon Graves, Mayor of Wheatland, do hereby declare November 13th, 2023 through November 19th, 2023 as National Apprenticeship Week in the town of Wheatland. Item number 2 is Jessica Griffiths. Would you please take the podium? Please.
So on the 29th of September, my vehicle was parked on the street to the hospital and a dumpster rolled into it after someone threw some trash into a dumpster. And I went through the process, getting a hold of the gals here, find out how that works, and filled out the paperwork. I got the estimate and sent everything in, and then I was denied. I just want the taillight fixed and my door fixed. There's a police report that I have for it. And I gave the other stuff to Tabitha, and I assume she has all that stuff.
You have a
I guess my question to you is, how do you think this is the city's responsibility?
Well, it's not my responsibility, and it's the city's dumpster.
Well, someone threw something in the dumpster that caused it to roll down the incline, correct?
Mm-hmm. It was also, according to Kim, the dumpster, after the dumpsters were replaced, it was also found in the middle of the street 2 weeks prior to that.
The pit where the dumpster sits, there's a slope to it, and now that we have new dumpsters and a new road on 15th Street, about a week before this, one of the other employees came in and said, Kim, the dumpster's out in the middle of the street. The wind was not blowing that day, nor was it the day she got hit. My guess is that it wasn't getting pushed all the way back in when it got set back in there after they dumped it. Because it literally, and I wish the video would have come through. I had the video footage that we have from the hospital. She just tossed it in there. Literally, that's all it took. And then it just rolled and then rolled right into her car. Since then, the city worker has made sure that he has pushed them all the way back and turned the wheels, and we've not had them out in the street at all. So I don't know if prior to that, if he was just putting them back in there just barely.
Handy, this the handwritten part here back that says that the trash surround is not a town.
No,
The town didn't
did not build
provide that.
surround.
Okay.
The town doesn't
It
build.
is set on Banner property, inside on their property. Have you also communicated with Banner's
Yes, sir.
insurance?
I asked them that very day. That was who I called first. And they said because it was the town's dumpster and and her vehicle was on the town street, that it would not be Banner's responsibility. That was their response.
But the dumpster was on Banner property and Banner made the surround.
I have not worked there long
I'm
enough to
just
tell
trying
you
to put
who
it
paid
together.
that. I don't know that.
Yeah.
No, I was just
Andy
trying
can
to,
probably tell you that, but just because it was the town dumpster, his reasoning was because it was the town dumpster and she was parked on the town street. That was his response.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
If there's a pocket for the dumpster, why are there wheels on it? So it can roll out. It belongs to the city, correct?
The dumpster belongs to the city, but I think that the reason there's wheels on it is so that it can be adjusted and moved so that the trash truck can pick up the can.
So if it doesn't have wheels on it and he picks it up and sets it back down and he rolls to the next one, that's on him if he can't position them without.
Oh, people are
Being
moving trash
moved.
cans and doing stuff all the time.
But anyway, I was just asking, why are there wheels on it? And no brakes?
do you have any input on this where it started on private property?
Well, a couple of things. It started on private property. Just because her car is parked on a a public street doesn't mean we're liable for something that happens on the public street. Also, it's my understanding that it was a Banner employee that threw the trash into the trash can. And so not only was it a Banner employee, it was on Banner property and it rolled off of Banner's property into the street. We don't control what people have done on the Banner property. They could have done anything from the time the trash was picked up, dumped, and moved it around. The wheels are placed there so that if they can't line up, because I assume these are rear dumpsters where they have to hook onto them with the latches. They're not the round ones. And so sometimes they have to move those to position them to even pick them out of the location, those bins that those people build. And so you have a couple of issues. Wasn't on our property. We don't know what transpired from the time that the driver dumped the last load. I don't know what days they dumped or what time. And then that it was a Banner employee that I assume threw Banner trash in there, or probably if it wasn't Banner's trash, it was probably their trash from out of town that they threw in, which they're not supposed to do. But as a practical matter, it's hard to find liability in the town. I mean, ultimately, our insurance company said no, they're not liable. And so you guys now have to make the decision whether or not you have to pay. But I have a hard time finding any negligence or any liability in the town.
It says Banner has video of the accident, so did the police department or anybody review it or?
I do, I can show it to you, yes. I don't have it with me, I don't know why it didn't get sent. We've sent in the stuff and the security guards told me that it was sent on a link, but Tabitha did not get the link. And when I asked for it again today, they were checking on it. They are in Greeley, so it's kind of slow. If you wanted to table it and come to the hospital, I would gladly show you what I can show you. That is entirely up to you.
Did they provide it to our insurance carrier?
They provided it to the police
When
department.
Yeah, and then the police department said that Tabitha didn't get it from the police department. Tabitha also didn't get the police report from the police department. I had to go get that, so. And that was an issue, getting the police report.
Do you think sending the video to the insurance company would?
I can't tell you. Here's what the video is going to show. It's going to show the placement of the can. It's going to show whoever threw that in, trash in. I don't know if they backed it up to the time that it was emptied, because I don't know when what time this incident occurred.
No, sir, it's not. It wasn't backed up that far.
Right.
Because I was the one that put the bookmark on it. So I just backed it up to where she walked out and threw it, and then you just watch it roll down the street. And then a different camera view, you can see it roll into the car, and then you see all of us run out there and pull it off.
But it
The
starts,
second view is pretty far away, but
it starts, I mean, you can table it until such time as you can look at the video and make a judgment on it.
Yeah, I'd like to see
One
it.
thing's for certain, it was certainly not your fault, we're just not sure if it's ours either. But yeah, let's table it. Take a look at the video. See if we can do something here.
We want to make that motion so we know where to come up.
Yeah, I'll make the motion that we table this until we take a look at the video and possibly if we can send that to the insurance company as well.
I'll second that.
I'd really like to see it.
just come see me at the hospital and ask for me, and I'll come get you, and I'll show you on the video.
Okay with you guys?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is there a second?
Second.
Josh. Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry. Item number 3
Oh, yeah, you got it.
is another proclamation for Native American Heritage Month. Proclamation of Native American Heritage Month, November 2023. Whereas we recognize the individual contributions of all Native Americans that have shaped our country. Whereas Native Americans have passed down rich cultures, knowledge, traditions, and ways of life for generations. Whereas Native Americans are essential to the fabric of the United States, they serve in the armed forces more than any other ethnic group today. Whereas Native Americans continue to make contributions to science, humanities, arts, public service, agriculture, and government that bring prosperity to us all. Now therefore, I, Brandon Graves, Mayor of the Town of Wheatland, do declare November 2023 as Native American Heritage Month in Wheatland, Wyoming, and urge all citizens to remember the contributions. And then we go to the public comment section, which,
May I speak?
yes,
You guys are all aware of, I purchased a piece of property, 500 7th Street. I'm down there tinkering today, and I witnessed 2 vehicles pulling up 7th Street, and they're towing U-Haul trailers, little 8x12s or whatever they are. A high-profile van and a red Chevy pickup. Well, they pull over there across from me, and I hear them out there talking, so I walk over and I'm looking at them, watching them. And they're talking back and forth. I witnessed the one guy put something on top of that van. And I didn't know what it was. Stood there and watched for a second, and pretty soon it was one of those little drones. And it flew around and it hovered there for a while. And then pretty soon the other vehicle set one on top of that U-Haul trailer and it took off. To me, that's suspicious activity, correct? Am I correct in thinking it is suspicious?
that's unusual for sure.
So I called the dispatch just to send somebody down here and check them out. We're aware of this. That's the special ops of our U.S. military. Flying drones around Wheatland, Wyoming, and I'm like, why Wheatland? They stole Bill Chris's ranch. Why aren't they out there flying it around on that ranch? The Gray Rocks Ranch. You guys are all aware. So I was speaking with the dispatch and she asked me for my phone number and I said, you know, I'm running some grinders and things and I can't hear my phone, so why don't you just send somebody down here? Well, they evidently finished their mission, the U.S. military. and took off. Well, 2 minutes later, the policeman shows up and he's explaining, I was asking him what my rights were over my property, airspace over my property. I have none. The people that I seen in these vehicles, all bearded up and, you know, they didn't have the turban on, but just made me wonder. Something off the border, you know, sleeper cells, what's going on? Our grid in this area is really important, don't you think? So it just made me curious to why the city council, were you aware of it, Doug?
Nope. Don't know why it would be.
Well,
If it was military,
No, they called the dispatch and told them that they'd be in the area doing this. None of you guys were aware of it. I mean, come
as
on.
far as I'm concerned, it's not illegal.
Well, it's not, according to the policeman. They can fly over my place all they want and take pictures of me doing whatever I'm doing.
Just like an airplane can fly over your place and take pictures.
So basically, I have no private property rights.
You have certain private property rights, but
Okay, to a point, maybe.
but I don't, here, I guess, boil it down. The cops got down there, they were already gone, right?
Right.
And so, and they had called and said, we're gonna be doing this. So there was no reason for them to panic about it. And then two, did you take down the license?
No, I did not call 911, I called dispatch.
911 is dispatch.
I called the 322 number.
And they
It
said,
wasn't an emergency.
I'm not, when you call dispatch, it just rings into wherever.
No, it tells you if it's an emergency, call 911.
But did you take the license plates down and give
No,
them?
I didn't, because I couldn't see them for one thing, and if I went walking across the street over there, they're gonna get suspicious on me, who knows? So, do I pack my pistola over there and talk to them? I'm just saying that if there's things like this happening in our community, why aren't you guys aware of this? That's my complaint. Thank you for letting me speak.
Not a problem.
I guess I have something to ask. My name is Lisa McIntosh, and I'm a math and ag teacher at the Wheatland Middle School. And a few months ago now, one of our representatives went to apply for a building permit. We are planning on building a lean-to greenhouse learning lab off the back of our school. And I just came to ask to see if we could possibly get that building permit fee waived and also provide any information you guys may be wondering about the project.
Lisa, we
did it last month.
yeah,
You
we
did?
it last
Okay.
month, yes.
Perfect, so we're good then?
But you know what, they didn't waive it, they cut it in half.
They cut it in half? Okay.
We did
Already
what
been
we
some
traditionally do.
What we traditionally do for school projects, we
Okay.
get the same historical
Okay.
fees.
Perfect.
It's here, so you got it.
The past practice,
Okay. Perfect, so then I'm good. I don't have to do anything?
That's right, you
Okay.
made your obligation.
Okay. Do you guys have any questions about the project or anything like that?
I'm just glad you're gonna be like fish pond.
What's the fish pond?
High school.
I don't even know.
That's before time.
That's before my time. It's gonna be pretty big. It's 15 by 40 feet. We're gonna have hydroponics in there, full heating and cooling, so it's gonna be fully equipped, and I think we're really excited. The kids are ready to get in there, so we've got it ordered, and so hopefully we can get moving on that soon. The kids are actually going to build the structure, which is really exciting too.
That's cool.
Yeah. Can I keep this? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, well, if you guys don't have questions for me, then I'm good. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
That was easy.
Yeah.
All right, Tracy, you want the floor?
They're kidding my stuff over here. The economic wellness report this month, not a lot
changed really from September to October. The housing report probably had the biggest movement, and there were fewer houses, about a third fewer houses for sale in October than there were in September. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but in the employment report, we have a lot more job seekers, which is the unemployment filings listed this month. And what happened there is I called the workforce services and they said that they recalculated the way that they put that information out there, so it changed that number. So if you guys saw that and said, whoa, what happened there? They're going by the unemployment filings there. So you'll see that should stay pretty consistent now, but we still have more openings than we have job seekers. The additional information that I sent this month was a report that was from the source was a quarterly census of employment and wages, and it came from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, but it came through the Wyoming Business Council at the state level. So what it was is a report basically on all the counties, and it was for the second quarter of 2023, so that's as new as data as they reported out. And basically it wasn't too great a news for Platte County. We were one of the 3 counties that fell in employment rather than growing. And we saw a 4.7% decline in our employment overall countywide, which is 165 jobs. So I would say that attribute that a lot of that to not a lot of it, but some of it to schools. Our schools aren't growing, so our teachers. We're not employing any more teachers than we have been. When you look at the job losses, they said they occurred in construction, state government, accommodation, food service, and local government, which includes that education. So not great news there, but hopefully we'll spring back grow by the end of the year. So, do you guys have any questions, anything else that I can?
None for me.
I saw the dollar stores, the Dollar General's open, and of course the Proposition 3 passed, so it's good news for the cities, municipalities, and then Proposition 1 for the county. So, okay,
Thanks, Tracy.
thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. We're there?
More or less by the time you announce what we're doing.
All right, we have a public hearing scheduled at 7:30. The purpose of dealing with some liquor licenses. And I'm just stringing this along until the clock says 7:30. And it does, so I'll call the public hearing to order. What you have in front of you is an application for a bar and grill liquor license. Big D Holding LLC, doing business as Big Dog's Lanes. You have the information in front of you. I guess, would anybody like to speak for or against to start off the application for a bar and grill liquor license?
Actually, we have no intentions of serving hard alcohol by the drink. We're only using the license to sell 12 packs of beer or.
I think we're combining both.
You're talking about me right now.
I guess more.
You're okay.
I think you can open it up for
Discussion
overall.
It'd be less confusing.
Okay. All right. So then also the second application would be a transfer of a retail liquor license from Big D Holdings to Fast Stop 1131 Incorporated, doing business as the Wheatland Travel Plaza. So you have two issues in front of you, or two ideals in front of you that we'll handle simultaneously. So in saying that, is there anybody who would like to speak in favor or against the application for licenses?
I would.
You can use the podium always, so then the
Okay.
camera gets you and anybody else is up.
My name is Tiffany Deed, and I am one of the current owners at Quality Discount Liquor. I'm here to address the transfer of the liquor license to the Fast Stop in Wheatland Travel Plaza. We are not in favor of this transfer. We have been a locally owned liquor store before we bought it, and it's been locally owned in Wheatland for 27 years. We have been in this community before owning the liquor store with another family-owned business for 37 years. We have built roots here in Wheatland. We always give back to this community and the youth with the events that take place in Platte County. We love helping out and keeping that Platte County going. We have supported 4-H sale every year. We buy an animal. We give to the poker run. We give to the Glendale EMTs. We give to youth sports. We give to Platte County Masters Golf Tournament. We give to a tournament that alcohol that we support that supports a high school scholarship. We give to the Cowboy Derby Golf Tournament that supports high school golf team and the youth golf program. We are present in the community. Our money stays in Platte County to help with all sorts of fundraisers. We also advertise locally to help other businesses in town. We have talked with the distributor in town, and he said Platte County does not need another liquor stop. Giving this liquor license to a gas station will only cause you more problems in the future. As a public citizen, when Maverick was asking for a liquor license to the city council, it was voted down then. What makes this convenience store any different? Our liquor store is strictly liquor, and we cannot employ any underage employees. I hope you consider my opinion and keep our Platte County dollars local to help out with all the events that we do here. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I share some of the concerns that she has. Having said that, though, Fast Stop employs approximately 190 employees in the state of Wyoming. We pay for their medical, we pay for their dental, we pay for their vision, we pay for their life insurance. We offer PTO, and we pay wages as high or better than Maverick or our competition. The way we do that is find new money, find new ways of making money. And our customers have asked for the ability to purchase alcohol beer in our store. We didn't come to the city council and say, would you issue us a license based on population, or we went out and bought one. And we'll never see a return on our investment. Never. I understand we also will be open hours different than what the business across the street is. And it just makes sense to us that you look at in its entirety. We have 5 other liquor licenses, and we've never had a DUI. We've never had there's been a push towards us. We've never had any safety issues, or we have any violations in the state, or any local police, any of those agencies. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment?
I would like a shot if I could.
Sure.
I'm Kevin Jenkins, owner of Biggie Holdings and Big Dog Holdings. I would just want to add that I also support the community and support the children in this town and donate to various children's groups to help keep things going. I would like to ask Ms. Dean why she's so opposed to this.
I just across the street from us, and we've been there for,
Okay, that's a fair concern.
and we have,
About 6 weeks ago, I had 4 full package liquor stores within a 3-block radius of my business. You want to talk competition? We can talk it all day long.
and I have it all up and down 16th Street.
So I guess that is a fair concern. I can use this money to make improvements to the bowling alley, which is my main goal. Part of it will go to pay down the loan, the mortgage on it, which would allow me to refinance. I probably wouldn't do it with the interest rates right now, but eventually. But I need to get the roof fixed, which the estimate on that is between $80,000 and $100,000. I need a new laying machine. That is $41,000. And it's things I've been saving for, but it's gonna take a long time to save that much at my bowling alley. And as far as a gas station serving alcohol in this town, you already have one. And he doesn't do much for the community. Thank you.
Thoughts from the council?
Well, I'll go. One of the things I really hate about this job is that I know everybody in this town. And a lot of my decisions sometimes, well, they affect everybody. And it's kind of hard sometimes, you know, because I've known all you guys are involved in this for a very long time. My thoughts are, and this is, again, past practice, where Maverick had put in for a liquor license and they were denied the liquor license. I don't see this being any different. And I'm just personally going to rely heavily on that past practice. And I'm sorry to say that, Kevin. That's my thought on that.
Will the city then support not letting TA or Flying J or Pilot build in Wheatland because I have a travel plaza and I've had it for years?
No.
What's the difference?
The difference is that they applied for a liquor license and denied that liquor license.
They applied for, you're talking about Maverick?
Yes.
Maverick applied for a liquor license. I didn't, I bought one.
No, they applied for one.
They applied, let's get it straight. They applied for a transfer. We had no liquor license available. And theirs was just similar to this. So everybody's on the same page. They had gone out and bought one and wanted it transferred to their location also.
They bought one and it was denied.
Yes.
What happened to free enterprise system? I don't get it.
It's just, the liquor licenses are a unique thing for the towns
And everything in this application has been approved by the state.
Well, they look at the application and say you've met the requirements. Ultimately, the town council has to make a decision whether to approve or deny either a new application or a transfer. This happens to be a transfer, and they look at it that way. And it's just because the state, they just say your application is in order. They don't say you have to transfer it or don't have to transfer.
No, they don't, they just say it's legal.
Yes.
Again, I don't understand the difference between Flying J moving across the street from me and me buying a liquor license and moving it across the street from this lady. I don't get the difference.
Her being across the street doesn't have anything to do with my decision. My decision is that was a past practice for
That doesn't make it
the
right.
gas station.
Doesn't make it right.
Past practice.
No, doesn't make it right at all. Just because you all decided Maverick didn't get their license didn't make it right. It was the prerogative of the board, of the commission, and you all made that decision. Then, not today. I'm not here to me, whether or not Wheatland Travel Plaza has a liquor license or not, doesn't really matter to me. But it does make a difference on me being profitable and being able to continue to take care of the employees that we have here in Wheatland. To continue to offer those benefits, you have to find new money to stay in business. We just had a report about how the job, the way they're figuring out things differently. There are people here to work in this town. And we're finding them and we're bringing them here and we're taking care of them. We're paying a great wage. Just because in the past somebody said, no, Maverick, you can't do this, doesn't make it right today. It makes it certainly should be considered, but it doesn't make it right. We met all the requirements of the state.
I sat on the council back then, and there was heavy pushback of having alcohol in the convenience store. Even though the alcohol might have been set aside, it was still the idea of you have families in there shopping convenience store and liquor, and there was a lot of pushback. And at that time, I think we voted. Mayor might even have been, if I remember right, sitting on the council. And I've had, and back now that this come back around, I've had the same majority of the people tell me that didn't like it in a convenience store. I know we have other separate liquor stores that are in separate facilities. You don't have underage minors working where there's the risk of getting everything. I don't know who you have employed over there, but I'm just saying what we did before, and
From talking to them though, it's not gonna be out on the floor in the convenience store. They're gonna have a dedicated room with somebody managing it full time.
No kid will ever be able to go near it.
It won't be any different than what Jen has up here.
No, and I know it's tough to do this, but for myself, I voted no before. I don't know, nothing has changed where I would change from what I said no to a different convenience store. So that's where I'm at on this.
I absolutely respect that, I do.
I mean, one way, nothing's really changed for me to reverse my prior decision.
But I don't believe that we should be punished because something that happened with Maverick years ago.
No, I mean, I don't know if you're being punished. I mean, Maverick's still here. You're still here. It was just an option.
But they're
We said no
built to have a cave, a beer cave. It has it wide open to the world. Ours won't be. That coupled with the fact if we're doing everything the state requires us to do, and I'm not aware of any rules in the city of Wheatland that says I can't do what I'm doing, except the prerogative of this commission. There's nothing that I'm aware of. Pass rules, make new statutes here in the city and say, hey, you can't do this, but you haven't yet. And I'm coming before you saying, I'm trying to do right. And y'all are telling me you can't because we don't want to. But there's nothing that says that I can't. There's nothing in this that I'm aware of within the Wheatland, I'm not a lawyer, within the codes and the statutes that say I can't do this. Wheatland didn't bother to say, all right, yep, Maverick brought up a good point, let's change the rules. How many years ago was that? I believe before us. So 7, 8, 9?
Closer to 20.
Yeah.
I was working at the town.
Matthew.
Helen, if I may, what's the difference between a convenience store and a grocery store? Because I didn't hear the same resistance to transfers to a grocery store. Just curious.
We had,
I can't remember. I mean,
It's a really good question.
I think at the time, the concept of, again, there was just, I mean, you can't go into QDL if you're underage. You can't go, and if you're going to have your vault room, you can't go in there if you're underage. But at the time, at the convenience store, it just gives the impression that the accessibility of it was more, whoops, and the perception. Yeah, Safeway has theirs tucked in their corner. Thrifty Foods will have theirs back off on the side. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty darn close. It's a little bit of apples and oranges maybe, but on the same note, I'm just speaking for myself. I was here and that's what I voted, and it wasn't my personal decision. It was more what I heard from the public, and I heard the same ones from the same public. Well, do we need more liquor stores? We said no to Mavic 4, don't want them in convenience stores, we have enough. And
You're not gonna have more liquor stores. Because I won't be able to sell package. You'll have the
Well,
exact
Big Doug,
same
but
number
you-
of liquor stores you have
Big Doug,
now.
you didn't, your situation is unique, that license you have is unique. You don't necessarily market packaged liquor
No.
like a
I
QDL
do sell
does
some.
or a Big A. I'm sure you do, and I've bought from you as in package myself. But I don't look at you as a packaged liquor store like the others out there. I mean, it's just a unique situation. Your license happened to be that came along with that restaurant. I don't think you bought the business with the idea you're going to flip cases of beer. But but I'm just going back to where I came from, how I voted on with the Maverick, and it was more pretty much based it on my own straw poll majority of what the influence I was being told from the public. So that's why I'm
The area where we intend to have alcohol is smaller than the area behind your desk. We're not trying to open a liquor store. We're trying to provide an amenity to our guests.
and I don't know what the value is, what your monetary value is. That's not my business to know. So I don't know whether what you're buying it for is for just that small of an inventory, and who's to say it starts out small and before, as you grow, and it does more. I mean, I don't know. I'm not here to determine whether the A&W will become a liquor store / lounge, or you'll do just this much here, like you're saying. I'm not saying I'm telling you what I'm anticipating you're doing. I'm just saying,
Don't you think that's
personally,
a stretch? That we're gonna turn an A&W into a lounge?
no, I said I don't know what you would do with it, and I'm not here to say what you're going to do with it or suggest what you do with it. I'm just saying that's the way I voted last year, or not last year, 10, 12 years ago when I was here for the Maverick. So.
Is there any further discussion?
So one has a bearing on the other. We vote on one subject to, or just go the first?
Please vote on the transfer first, because I'm gonna rescind my application for the bar and grill if it's not approved. Is that fair?
That's your choice.
As long as I just wanted to make sure they understood it. They didn't reject one and grant another one, is all I was concerned about.
I've just seen keep my full package if that's how it works out.
Well, either way, and I'm in agreement with Tony, either way we vote, we're dirty SOBs. I've heard a lot of comments down at Safeway. I really hate going to Safeway anymore because I get beat up. But that's a position I took, and that my decision is what the people were telling me. So I'm gonna go with my constituents. Okay? Thank you.
It's pretty important to add that everything that you've said is absolutely right. There's not a single thing that you've done that's wrong, and there is absolutely no reason why we can't say yes. None at all. But it's the same thing that Willie is saying. But there's no way not to upset somebody with this decision. So you kind of got to go with the feedback that you get.
I totally believe in the system. If y'all decide that we don't get a license, I'm gonna walk out of here smiling. I am. It don't mean, by no means doesn't mean we're cowards. We were elected by these people. No, I just got them commending you. I believe in what you're doing, you know. If you think it's right, do it. Thank you.
Well, then, let's have a motion for the transfer of the retail liquor license, if you're so moved to make that motion.
Yeah, I'll make the motion. Make a motion for the transfer of the retail liquor license transferring from Big D Holdings LLC, doing business as Big Dog Lanes, to Fast Stop 1131, doing business as Wheatland Travel Plaza.
It's been moved. Do we have a second?
Are you making a motion to approve it or deny it?
No,
You can make it either way.
So then we can vote on it.
Oh, okay.
I just need a second.
Okay, second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further questions or comments for clarification, or are we good?
Sorry, guys. Yeah.
No, you're good. Okay, all in favor of the transfer of the retail liquor license from Big D Holdings to Fast Stop 1131, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay. Transfer is denied. So then you want to rescind your application for a bar and grill license? Okay. All right. So then do we just go back into the
Go
regular
back into
meeting?
regular meeting.
Okay. Reconvene the regular meeting of the council. So any other public comments at this time? Hearing none, we'll move on to unfinished business item number 1, which is ordinance 844. Privately owned RV water supply and dump station on third and final reading. Well, I was trying to decide, should we have
Make a
make a
motion.
motion and then
Make a motion on ordinance 844, amending ordinance 841, adding water and sewage rates and regulations for privately owned and operated public recreational vehicle RV storage facilities providing sewer dumping stations.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion or anybody who would like to speak to ordinance 844 on its reading?
Mayor Graves, will you recognize me as the speaker?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I think all of you know me. Steve Sherrard is my name. I'm really not here as a lawyer. I'm here to support my brother-in-law, Richard Oates. You'll be relieved to hear that, won't you?
Richard is.
Richard Oates. Richard Oates is heading up Three Lake Storage. I'm sure you all know about it. He's going to give you a little update on where he's at, what the future holds, what he plans to do out there. Been a lot of progress so far. As far as ordinance number 844, we're concentrating on, don't like the service fee. And mainly because it's based upon whether the spaces are rented or not. And I totally get why the town wants to have that, because I was around when a mobile home park, they would charge them based upon whether there was mobile homes there or not. And then the town would rely on the mobile home park owner to tell them how many were occupied. And guess what? They were feeding them false information, or they didn't realize what they did and gave a number, and you don't want to be policemen. I mean, I understand that. So this was an attempt to say, it doesn't matter whether they're rented or not, here's what you're gonna get charged. And I don't blame the town for that. There's gotta be another way to do it, so you don't have to police them. But we think we have a better way to handle this, because it's also not fair, I don't think, to the developer. While he's developing and doing all this stuff, he's gonna have 65 lots in phase one, and he's not gonna have a single tenant out there for a while. And so he's gonna have to pay for the sewer and all these things, and he'll have no income to offset that. So Richard here, he's gonna explain a compromise position, number one, so that the town doesn't have to police it, but also at the same time to set a set fee, whether they're occupied or not. And we'd like to give you a chance to talk to Richard, let him kind of give you a short presentation on it, if that's okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
Mr. Mayor and Councilman, thanks for having me here tonight. And we had a workshop many moons ago to talk about this RV dump. And at that session, you granted us permission to proceed. And we also talked about, at that time, reviewing on how we should be charged for that going forward. And I apologize for showing up on the third reading. And first time I looked at this, I was thinking it was pretty good. However, here about a month ago, Andy, I saw charge for vacant spaces. I said, I don't believe that's fair. And so we put our heads together, and I told you then, and I believe now, that Three Lake Storage wants to treat the town of Wheatland fairly. So I have 4 pieces of paper, and this will be quick. I did send this to Walter today, and we may have, I see you guys have our plan. Thank you very much. So this facility that we're building on lot 2, block 1, will have 65 spaces. And they're 14 by 30 foot. And then on lot 3, we're working on getting a variance from the city on one of these buildings. And I have a meeting next week with the city. And it'll probably be in the spring before the buildings are in there. We hope that we're in operation on lot 1 by the end of the year. And right now we have the fence in. We've worked with the city and the local electrician. We're trying to get power to our gates. We're using Easy Storage, which is one of the top software companies in the country, to provide, it's a manless operation. You get on, you sign up for a space, it assigns a space, gives you an access code, you get access in, access out. As you'll see on the plan, as promised, we've worked with the town. We provided a gate for that sewer easement, that the only person that's going to have access to that is the town. And we think that's phenomenal, and Rick really liked that. Your guy's lock will be on that, and maybe he'll share a key with me. So looking back in the past, back in 2016, there was ordinance 794, which I believe is the way previously, before this meeting, we would be charged as a commercial entity, our sewage charge. Thank you. Just about right. Thank you. And I won't belabor that because we'll do a little math here in a minute and we'll show you what that means. We actually believe that if you charged this low amount here, it would be unfair to the town of Wheatland. The other piece of paper I had was what you guys proposed for ordinance 844. I think you have a copy of that. I can pass out another one if you like. And then finally, a couple things that we found out is that these trailers and mobile homes, the average size of a black water tank, and there's 2 tanks for storage of waste on trailers, of my understanding. And personally, I've owned trailers and motorhomes alike. And one is called a gray water tank, and the other is a black water. The gray water, most people dump it before they go down the road. It's used for the shower and the sink. Now, the black water is exactly what it means. And the average size on one of these tanks is about 50 gallons. And they can range down to 10 for a black water all the way up to 100. And I saw that on the internet. We confirmed it with Sonny's RV, so we just used 50. So, based on the ordinance from 2016, 794, let's talk about what that means to the town. So, the truth of the matter is, these trailers that we're going to store are going to be used May through September. Maybe you could add April and part of October. In our example, we just said May through September.
And you should point out, Richard, that you really don't know how many boats you're gonna have compared to RVs.
Right, and one of the questions I was asked by some of your staff was, well, can't you just dedicate part to trailers and part to boats? That's our model, because our software, it assigns a spot. And it just, numerically, as you sign up, that's where you live. So, no, we won't have separate trailers and boats. You may have a trailer and boat sitting right next to each other. And our goal is to fill up this place, which is good for us and for the town. So, on lot 2, block 1, at that $950 charge, and using, if we had trailers in all 65 spaces, that would be about 13,000 gallons per month. And then you do the math, it comes out to about $18.71, or about $93.55 a year on lot 2, block 1. And lot 3, block 1, let's say it's about the same. So this 93, just double it. And so, you know, a couple $100 to the town for our septic system based on the volume. And what we contend is that's not fair to the town. We don't think it's fair to us that we're being charged for vacant spaces. And to Steve's point, and I wasn't familiar with this mobile home park, but Candy was good enough to point it out to me. Hey, we had a problem in the past and we need to do something. So what we proposed is paying $20 a month, and that's 12 months, each month, for each acre of usable and developed space. So in essence, right now, I'm not open. We aren't open. So we aren't using the sewer system. And everything else in that ordinance, as far as putting in the 2-inch opening, we've done that. Putting in the flush and the potable water separation, we've done that. And the city or the town worked with us, going through that, and it was a great experience. And if you were to accept our suggestion at $20, Block 2, Block 1 at 2.34 acres, when we bring that online, is going to produce $46.80 per month for $561 per year. Block 3, Lot 3, Block 1, and that's an interesting lot. And in fact, I had the surveyor, and you'll see on the map, show the complete acreage of the 5 acres plus, and the usable space is actually 3.24 because we have a collection pond for the whole community out there. And so inside the fence is 3.24 acres. That would produce $64.80 per month and total revenue of $777.60. And we think that would be fair and it'd be easy for you guys to manage. So with that, we're just glad to be here. And we want to be a good steward of the community and someone you can trust. And I got to make sure that Steve Mona still have a house when I leave. So
Thanks, Richard.
You're welcome.
If they don't, it won't be because of you, Richard.
Thanks, Weaver. Mr. Weaver.
Well, am I glad I came here, Weaver.
Mayor, Councilman, do you have any questions for me?
So if we go with this new ordinance, $561.60 for lot 2, $64.80 per month for lot 3, so $777.60. So that would be a total of the combined two for the year.
Yes, sir.
$1,339.20.
And we
Even vacant?
Okay. So I think at the workshop, we talked about how do we go about this? And I think I brought up, the only thing I could think of was lot space. That's the only fixed number, fixed entity, and it can be hotel rooms, you're vacant or you're non-vacancy. But so if we're looking at block 1, lot 2, your first thing, per our ordinance, we just did $1 a space, and we don't know if they're all boats, if they're all RVs, and kind of what you said earlier, Steve, you can't rely on everybody saying, hey, it was only so many boats this year or this time, and it's so many RVs. So we're trying to figure out what's fixed, the dirt, what's the space, how many are you gonna use? So I was just looking, and so if you're gonna do 65 spaces, so $1 a space a month is $65. Your proposal is $48.20 or $46.80. We're just off $18.20.
The key here is it has to be developed and usable.
Right. And then based on acreage, the next guy that puts in an RV with a dump station, how do you critique the percentage of acres based off of? I think maybe it's more deciding how much more per space, but $1, well, we said $1 per month per space for the service fee, but somehow it seems like it's hard to get around about the best fixed thing is just the number of spaces. I mean, you tried the acreage thing here, but I got to think down the road, how's the next ordinance going to read for the next RV person that wants to do it with a dump station? And the dump station was new to us, so we were trying to figure out how to do it. I know down here at the town, if we request, we like $5 per time use. And now, are you charging your renters to use yours?
Yeah, our position hasn't changed, based on you guys' experience and what we've seen. The donation process seems to work. I think, at that $5, Some months we're gonna do real well, and then we have 6, 7 months of the year, we aren't gonna do so well.
But you will charge your people usage to use your dump station.
It's a donation. It won't be
And
paid.
that's on you.
Pardon?
And that's on you, not us.
Correct.
Use of the dump station.
Correct.
Right.
Correct, and I think it's reasonable that, you know, our clients are gonna put sewage into your system that you're gonna have to treat, that costs money. And so we're just trying to determine a legitimate way that's fair to both of us. And this charging for a vacant space that I don't know that's gonna be a boat or a trailer, that's rough. And I don't wanna work around the rules. I could come in here and say, hey, I only have 10 trailer spaces and I have 55 boat spaces. And that wouldn't be true. Because I don't know.
Richard, you're doing the same thing, whether it's a monthly fee, the $46 a month, or whether you have a boat or a trailer. You're just assuming that. A cleaner way for us, I think, and this is just a suggestion, is, listen, if you think a dollar's too much, it really comes out right now that if you just divided it, it's 72 cents a lot. The $46.80. I think it's 72 cents a lot per month. My calculations. And then we don't, if you sold it, we're not arguing about usable acres. They're gonna say, do you see what I'm saying? We'd be, and so a compromise, I don't care if you make it 72 cents, a compromise would be, listen, if we want it per lot, rented or unrented, make it 72 cents or 75 cents, whatever's easiest. It comes real close to what Richard is asking for at $46.80, if I'm using the right figure per month. And then if you divide it by the number of spaces you have in.
And the only other thing that I would ask in that ordinance, if you went to 72 cents, is that we're actually in business. We shouldn't have to pay that fee just because I have RV dump if I'm not in business on this lot or that one. Does that make sense?
It does, but you have to have a date certain, so we're not guessing if you.
And lastly,
The minute one gets stored out there, then it's usable, developed and usable.
If he's open for business and people don't sign up, it's not our fault.
Okay, I'll give
Do you see what
you,
I'm-
I'll give you a date.
And then,
So on lot 2, block 1, by the 31st of December, we will be in business.
and I think then we could just have them call and say, listen, at some point.
We don't have to agree on a
That-
date.
Yeah.
If you want a steady date,
I think you just call Candy and say, we're open for business, we're taking rentals.
yeah, and I would hope that we'd be open by December 1st, but I don't have electric. We're working on that.
and then getting, or, you know, just this ordinance is for the next guy. It's kind of like the next thing down the topic here. Next guy that wants to do a barn grill, what's the definition of a grill?
Understand.
I'll get into that later. But, and then unless we put on this another option that I was just thinking about with this service fee, if somehow language can be in there for new construction, a new development of an RV park with dump sites in them, the town, unless it would be, say, 50 cents a space for the first 6 months, 4 months, then once give you time to get up and rolling, then it reverts to $1 a month. And whether they're all rented or not, then that's just what it is going forward. But if it's a brand new setup, helps, like you're saying, the initial phase to get going and get a chance to get more tenants and not have a large amount of vacancy. You know, I was just trying to look at easier numbers than 72 cents, 68
Well,
cents.
I suggest if you're gonna do that, make it 75. But I think if you complicate it for the town, pretty soon, month 1, it's 50 cents. Month 2, it's 60 cents. I think the easiest way is just 75. It gets you real close to what the developer wants. He's gonna call the town and say, we're open for business January 1, you know, December 31st, January 1, we're ready to go. And that's when you start charging that monthly rate.
What do you think about that, Richard?
Yeah, is that agreeable?
So first, I'd like to say, Alan, thank you for thinking of the local business. But that will make it complex having a step. And this is an important issue, or I wouldn't be standing here. And Mr. Weaver, I'd accept that deal. Just lower the rate and don't just say it's per spaces. The vacant part bothers us a little bit. And having, open for business, great. So I'll leave that in your capable hands as far as language. So thank you, Council.
Well, maybe I'm off base here,
Okay.
but I think, what if we were to eliminate vacant and only rented and still do $1?
Who's gonna manage
How
it?
would we know?
Yeah, who's gonna manage it?
Police it though.
Well, the
It
issue.
ain't my
with that-
job, it ain't her job, go out and count them and report back.
Well, and what I had offered and talked with your staff about was that my software, I'm collecting rent. I know how many spaces are rented every month, and I can provide those reports to the city. The issue becomes that, guys, we're a small town, and having enough depth to take care of all the important things, and this is just one, needle in a haystack. If we can just do something fair.
I was just throwing it out there.
And I appreciate that, but I did go down that rabbit hole, and we thought about it and said, the management time it takes on the backside, even though our system is robust, you can trust me. Unfortunately, somebody before me wasn't very trustworthy.
And you don't know who you're gonna sell it to.
So my partner and I,
Someday.
but we're here to stay, and we want to be good partners in town. Just reduce the rate, make it a flat rate, and we tied it to the acreage. If you want to tie it to the spaces, then that's what it is.
So what'd you say, Doug, 75 cents per space?
If you calculate it, it's 72 cents. If you use Richard's
So when
calculations,
you round down to 7.
I always round up.
You had to have 73 we were to round up.
I rounded up to the nearest nickel. But it calculates out at about 72 cents if you use Richard's numbers and divide it by the number of spaces in lot 2. And then, so you guys can choose whatever number you want. That was just what I calculated it to be.
Sounds like something the bank could do, Doug.
The 75.
I
If not, we
zero
don't
issue
stay at
with
the
this.
dollar, the
Yeah.
75 cents per space, and it's just based on spaces.
But it's still close to this number. And I agree with you. I understand completely what you're saying.
Thank you.
And I want to be, fair to you guys and fair to us too. I do like your numbers here. So if we can come up with a number, and we will call it per space, just for our end of it.
Sure, it's a compromise.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your acre idea is actually really good. It's got a lot of merit because you could redo this and bring it back to 30 spaces.
Yeah,
Pretty easy.
and that's
It just kind of depends on who you trust here. So, but I like reducing the service fee. If you want to negotiate, I should do that.
We're gonna have to go through this again.
No, you just, you just,
Okay.
did somebody make a motion? And then
Not
you
yet.
go?
No, not yet.
Not yet. You can make a motion to approve.
No, we did, we had a motion.
Yeah, I made the motion.
Yeah, we had a
And if
motion.
you
so
could
we're
have a
gonna scratch
friendly
it.
amendment, whoever made it, to reduce the service fee to 75 cents per lot.
I'm going to make a motion on ordinance number 844 to reduce the service fee to 75 cents per month per space. Is that good enough?
Yep.
Do we have a second?
Second.
B.
All in favor?
Now, you're voting on the amendment, and then you're gonna vote on the whole ordinance. I don't care how you do it.
All in favor of the amendment from $1 to 75 cents per month per space, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, is there any further discussion on ordinance 844 in its entirety? As amended. On on third and final reading.
So do we need a motion to?
No, we have that motion.
We have
Is there
that
just
on the
any
floor.
further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor of ordinance 844 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks, everybody.
Your house will still be there in the morning, Steve.
We're gonna go by your house on the way home.
Remember, my wife's in there.
I'll call, she'll be riding around with us.
Okay.
We know what she feels about you.
She doesn't even like me. Looks like love me.
Welcome to marriage.
All right, moving on to unfinished business, item number 2, which is ordinance 845, rezone of 1251 Cole Street, Conservancy District to a general business on second reading.
Make a motion to accept ordinance 845, an ordinance rezoning 1251 Cole Street on Wheatland, more particularly described below.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there further discussion? Remember, this is second reading, so we'll have it one more time. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Who seconded that?
Josh. Okay.
Yonder.
Okay, moving on to new business. Item number 1, which is ordinance 846, which is definition of a bar and grill liquor license and dispensing room requirement on first reading. 846 was on the desk in front of you, not included in the packet.
Make a motion, we approve ordinance 846, an ordinance establishing minimum requirements for bar and grill liquor license and annual renewals, be it ordained by the town of Wheatland, Wyoming.
Second. Moved and seconded. Is there discussion?
And I know this is a working document, we got 3 readings to go on it. I like what came about on here. I was going back what the state suggested for definition of a grill and what's part of some of the statutes. And maybe whether, it doesn't have to be this one, I'm just throwing it out there. The establishment has a menu. The state had a full course where am I at here? Maybe not under menu, but somewhere in there. Some of them a little vague, but I was thinking they also put on there a full course meal shall mean a diversified selection of food, which is ordinarily consumed with the use of tableware and cannot conveniently be consumed while standing or walking, which I guess is just, this isn't, a bar and grill isn't a fast food drive-up type thing. Then they also go full course meal shall mean food, but cannot be consumed while standing and walking. But that doesn't necessarily go this go around or next go around. I think we had that email a while back. We might go back and look at those, what the state suggested. Being they're putting it in our hands to define at our level, maybe we'll look at some of that, get a little more specific, a definition on a couple of things, but maybe under dining area with dedicated tables and chairs, but then that's where full course meal comes in, ties in with what they have on the books on the statute already. But other than that, no, I like it. And it will give a roadmap going forward. And then I guess when renewal times, those that have bar and grill license need to adhere to these ordinances.
It's going to be a little more difficult in the first year because you're going to have them next year. I don't know if you can hold them to that the first year because they didn't.
I'm sure they got to have time to adjust.
Yes, that's what I am saying. But and the other thing that you have to have it, I think the statute even says this, it can only be open during the time food is prepared and served. So you can't open it at 6 and say the grill isn't open until noon or anything like that. So, but I'll work on that first one on the menu and I think that's section 12-4-14.
Yeah, and 413.
And then is the 50%, is that percentage right? For some reason, I thought I read 60%.
You can, the town can adjust it however you
Okay,
want to do
okay.
it. This, it says 60%, has to be 60% of, I think it's food and entertainment.
Yes, food and
And so
entertainment.
I lowered that to 50% has to be food. Because you could have,
Oh,
Do you see what
okay,
I'm-
you didn't include, okay, I see.
because you could have 5% food and you could have 45% entertainment, whatever
Sure.
that
No, no.
means.
Games of
Good,
skill.
I was hung up on the percent,
Yeah.
I was looking at the,
And the council can, I
The
think
1500
the statute
view.
allows the council to do that.
right, no. Good catch, excellent catch.
So this will be your first reading. We can amend it, go to the.
Yeah, no, that's what I was yelling at.
All right, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of ordinance 846 on first reading signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion will carry. New item number 2, ordinance 847, a rezone of 704 16th Street Residential District to General Business District, first read. And I'm gonna guess Planner Dumont has a little blurb for us here, a
Sure,
little
of
informational
course.
blurb.
Yeah, this was an application by Al Maya, who apparently is not here tonight, but he said he would be here. He has a vacant house there on 7/4/16th Street. He wants to use it for he has many businesses, but it's gonna be mainly an office, and he's gonna store some outbuildings from his other business on the property as well. There was some resistance to this a while ago because it's technically spot zoning, but 16th Street is the main thoroughfare of our community. Residential is going the way the dodo bird on 16th Street. The house next to him is vacant. He has a new roof. Nothing's being done with that. He wants to utilize this house and make it a business. I think it's a good idea. Planning and zoning passed it on our November 2nd meeting.
It's right across the alley from me, and I've spent quite a bit of time visiting with Al about kind of his plan, and I'm comfortable with it for what that's worth.
Yeah, and I got no complaints from any of the neighbors, so.
Yeah, I've seen the chief of police already signed off on it.
Yeah, seems happy.
And Candy.
Make a motion to accept ordinance 847, rezoning 704 16th Street, town of Wheatland.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry. Resolution number 12-2023, investment policy. You have anything to add to this, Candy?
So I guess one thing, so this is a requirement by state statute, and we have not had this in place. Tabitha and I learned about this at one of our trainings. It was good information. We got a hold of several different WAMCAT members and looked at their policies, and actually this one was really based off the counties, and then we made it fit for a municipality. Or I want to give the credit to Tabitha. Tabitha made it work for a municipality, so.
All right, I'd entertain a motion for resolution number 12-2023.
And you'll need to review this every year.
Okay.
I think the auditors like that, and it just keeps you squared away.
I'll make a motion that we accept resolution number 12, 2023.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. New business item number 4. Ardura, did I say that right, Josh?
You got it.
All right.
They're gonna change it 4 years.
It looks like he's got a pile of paperwork here for us. This nice dry reading that Josh always seems to bring to the table for us.
I think engineering is very exciting. So thank you very much. So we've got a few things in here. So the first is our work order 2023-01. So this is for design and construction administration of the apron. So we went through this process. We got the scope of work approved by the FAA. Town went and did an independent fee estimate and all that. I found out this morning via phone call with YDOT and the FAA. I only talked to YDOT, but this originally was slated to be a project we would design this year, and we would do a phase 1 of the project in the summer. And then we were going to do phase 2 in 2028. And really that just had to do with funding and trying to use available funding that the FAA has to optimize it. The FAA and YDOT, they met today and they made the decision to do this as a design-only project this year, and then basically have it on the shelf and then fund the construction in 2026, which the difference is, instead of it being a 2-phase project, it'll basically be a 1-phase project, so it's an improvement overall. And so just get that out there.
So would that be, sorry to interrupt, Josh, 7/1 of 26? Construction, you said?
Well, it would be fiscal year 2026, so it's a federal fiscal year, so that would be October 1st. Is that 25? And so it's all dependent on the grant cycle, but basically summer 2026 is what I would, or I guess it would really be summer 2027 maybe. So yeah, that's the change. I guess what I presented is we do have the scope of work. It's been reviewed and it's been prepared. It does include the design. My ask would be to go ahead and approve this, and then what we'll do is we will work with the FAA and YDOT, and we'll have to adjust the scope. When I see that this scope of work as it's written now, it includes design and construction administration, but we would basically come back and amend it to remove the construction administration out of it. Because when that time comes, we'll just add that back. So if you guys are comfortable with that, because the design is not going to be for the whole apron, we probably have to relook at several of those things as well, but this is just the process as it stands with the FAA. You guys have any questions on that?
I have a question. Will the fees change? I mean, it's obviously they're gonna go up. I just know that's
So-
how you guys work.
Yeah. So yeah, our total fee is like $284,000 right now. It will, so right now, the construction, the bidding, that will all come out of this. So it will go down, I guess. Does that make sense? It'll be a.
But ultimately, it'll go up.
Well, yeah, because it's gonna be, our billable rates, our people get raises, and so yes, definitely in 2026, it will be higher.
And material will go up.
The other question is, what happens if specs are changed?
So so the FAA, they have pretty clear guidelines on how they handle this, and so their rule is if we get a project design, it only has a limit, it doesn't have an infinite shelf life. So what this kind of does is it does start a clock for them to get it done. I will add that doing this as a 1-phase construction project instead of a 2-phase, it is a benefit because
for the aviators, absolutely.
Well, it's for the aviators, it's also a benefit for the town as well, because your cost is going to go down. Because your economies of scale on a project that's even a little bit bigger is gonna help. So it's gonna cost them just the same amount to mobilize a hot plant in for a little bit of asphalt versus twice as much asphalt. So in general,
one mob and demob instead of 2.
Exactly. And I would also say our construction administration fee for a 1-phase project, because if we won't have to bid 2 projects. We won't have to do all that. It will be lower overall. In generally every way possible, this is an improvement and a better thing for the town.
You writing that down?
I remember.
I remember. The other question is
Oh, yeah.
why do we approve it now and why don't we just wait until you get it all amended and choose to do it then? I'm just asking a question. It doesn't seem rational to approve it and then come back and amend it because we know it's gotta be amended.
Because we put a lot of work into this, and I'll be honest with you, my surveyor drove down here today and to do the survey tomorrow, and I would like to have a contract to tell my bosses that, my people are working under the contract. That's really what we're
So my next question is, when do you expect the amendment to show up?
So I will begin working with the FAA this week, and YDOT and Kendi, and we'll start, my goal would be to try to get that amendment to you guys next month.
It's had the same language as the runway for the engineering firm regarding liability and not responsible. You have the same E&O company, same insurance company.
I just don't know who our E&O company is, so.
Josh, that wouldn't be this work order, that would
I
be
don't
our,
want to go to Denver again.
I wanna call it our master agreement with Ardura, right?
Yep.
That would have that. So we're still under that.
It's still the same master.
Cause I have a contract with them for 5 years.
Yes. And it's actually probably, the runway was actually under a previous master agreement, so that was a GDA master agreement.
So we're still under, well,
Now this is a TO master agreement.
And you're not even them anymore.
We're not even them anymore.
so,
Okay,
Comedy of errors.
don't want to go to Denver again.
I think he's saying it's your turn, Brandon.
when is that master agreement up, do you remember?
So we renewed it in September 2021, so I think it will run through. So September 28th, 2021 was when it was approved, so I think it will run all the way through September 2026.
So,
You want a motion here?
Yep, we need a motion.
Make a motion to approve Ardura Engineering's proposal for apron phase 1.
Been moved, do we have a second?
Second it.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry. Yes, and I'm sure.
I'll just give you a brief update on the snow removal equipment. It's out to bid right now. We had a pre-bid meeting online last week. We had 3 bidders show up. Interest seemed okay. We talked to one today. They're gonna back out, but we're still working on the other 2. So we're optimistic that we're gonna get this.
For less price.
I don't think that's gonna be the case, sadly.
Well, you're killing us.
I know. Well, take it up with Congress.
We ain't picking on you. You think we're sick.
Executive session.
Can I make a comment? Brandon?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, you can make that.
I'd like to welcome Black County Record Times Stephanie Wilson. She is doing her due diligence to get the news out. You have to tell her once in a while not to print it out, you know.
only when you're at a commissioner meeting, Willie.
Yeah.
Censorship. Only.
But we do appreciate you attending.
Thank you. I appreciate learning a lot.
Or I do.
Right
I
here.
don't know about the rest of them. Can't speak for them. Tiffany, thank you for showing.
Thank you.
And thanks, Stephanie, for giving that.
We did get that, if you know.
Session? Go. Oh, you're good.
Thank you. Sorry. No, it's a no-win situation.
No, it's, yeah, it's.
Issue with if you make your bar and grill ordinance, you comply with it in every way, then it purely becomes discretionary, whether you want it to happen.
Thank you. Thanks, Nate.
They qualify.
It's the public perception. Mom and gun, kids are screaming, we'll stop in, I'll get you a pop. And some of us stand there looking, on a fireball.
It's out.
We're still in session, because we did not.
Carter said they're all up down.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Yeah, we could, and they're on the shelf next to the candy.
Need a second?
No, we can adjourn or not adjourn, but we can,
We need a motion.
Thanks for that.
yeah, we need a motion to adjourn into executive session.
Well, good, because I was like,
Make
I
a
don't know.
motion to adjourn into executive session.
What's that lots?
Been moved and seconded, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Josh. And